Hello everybody and welcome to Hobbies Fishkeeper, or welcome back if you are one of my 775 subscribers. Thank you to my subscribers for sticking with me. I have been off the scene for a couple of months, and unfortunately that's what this video is about. It's a bit of a fishkeeping vlog, so hence the lovely title. The good, the bad and the light at the end of the tunnel is what I've named this video. And over the past few months I've had quite a bit of, shall we say, bad luck. Please stick around to the end of the video because we're going to be discussing what's put in this tank. I've got a little list of fish that I've been thinking of putting in there, but I'm going to leave it up to you to maybe have a vote or leave any other fish that I've not mentioned in the comments, and we'll see where we go from there. But anyway, back to the video. So much bad luck that I've had to make a list in chronological order of exactly what has happened to me over the past few months. And we're going to start on a bit of a somber note. We did have an unexpected death in the family, and that was coupled with me starting a new job on the same day all that happened. So obviously having time to do things like this kind of went out of the window for quite a while. But we're back here now, we're back at it. But I do have a laundry list of other things that went wrong over the past few months. So the first one was I bought a new phone. So the phone that this is being recorded on at the moment is the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It is a fantastic phone, and I was previously on the Galaxy Note 8. Again, that was a great phone as well. But the issue I had with that was I had a video on there, which was going to be my next video, and I lost it in the transfer, and obviously trying to save everything to my laptop, it got deleted. Now that video I actually recorded twice, so it was a double the kick in the balls, so to speak. And I've just realised as well since starting this, so if the sound is a little bit low, it's because this phone doesn't have a headphone jack to plug my microphone into, so I'm just going off the mics on the phone at the moment, so we'll see how that turns out. So I lost the video. Now that video was a video on the dilemma that I had with my 240 tank. It did house my Oscars, my beloved Oscars, which were the mascot on the channel, Hobbyist Fishkeeper. It housed my massive Pleco, my Deweyseps Plec. What else did it house? My Baisha, and I had a featherfin catfish in there as well. And what else? I'm sure I had one more fish in there. A Jack Dempsey, a blue Jack Dempsey. Now, obviously me talking in past tense, that's because that tank is no longer with us. But the video was a dilemma of what do I do? Do I rehome? Do I get rid of some of them and just keep maybe the Oscars and rehome the rest? Or do I just keep one of them because it was going to get bigger and possibly outgrow that tank? And would that give me an excuse to buy an even bigger tank maybe? But that came to a different end altogether, of which I will get to in a minute. So as you can tell with this video, pretty bad luck I've been having over the past couple of months. So in this room, this is my man cave. Basically, when we moved in last November to this house, and then I basically set up the fish room with my fish rack system, which was here. And we got extreme damp in this room, so we got a damp specialist in, and he basically blamed the fish tanks for the damp. So obviously the tanks had to be downsized, so what the plan was to downsize in way of getting rid of the rack, and then I decided to get rid of the big fish and rehouse the big fish, and then have just the 240 in here and do some sort of project with that. I was going to leave it up to you guys to decide what we put in that tank, so that it was just going to be reduced down to one tank. Then what happened next? Oh, the water change of death. Basically, I did a water change on my racking system. It was basically I did them alternate, so I did the 240 one week, then the rack the next week, and I just alternated those. So it was the rack's turn, and I did a water change, and within probably I'd say around about 45 minutes to an hour, I noticed that fish started to upturn and started to die off, and that was across all of the tanks. So that was a bit of a twitchy bum time. So the only thing that I could think of was I did have a spare tank. I kind of emptied half the water out of the 240 into this tank, so it was cycled water. Obviously it had already had a water change the week before, cycled water, and I literally had to take all of the fish out of the racking system and chuck them into that tank, basically to stop them from dying off. Now it seemed to work. I didn't have another death. I'll tell you, I had 2 more deaths, but then they all seemed fine pretty much in that one tank. And then the rest of the racking system I completely emptied out. Now the only thing that I could put that down to was the bucket. The bucket that I used, I think, has been used by somebody else in the house, not naming names, the missus, and I think she may have put some chemical in it when she'd been cleaning or something and not washed the bucket out, and basically whatever was in that, I think, went into the tanks, unfortunately. So that was the end of that. So that was the water change of death. So with that in mind, then after that, I was going to rehome the 240 fish, the Oscars and what have you, and then put all of them fish into that tank just for the time being until I had a chance to set up. And then the worst thing ever could happen, I cracked the side of the 240. Now, it wasn't a repairable crack. It literally went from, it wasn't on this side, it was on this side, but it literally went from the corner all the way down to the bottom, and it was really unsalvageable. It was leaking straight away. It lost half the water. I literally had to empty the water into a big plastic container and chuck the fish in there because there was just water going everywhere. I didn't have enough money to go and buy another 240. I had to take them to my local fish shop and basically give them away, which was devastating, to be honest. I had to give the mascots of the channel away. I did say, can you keep hold of them for a week or so until I try and sort things out, but I just couldn't afford to buy another tank out that big. I scoured Facebook, I scoured Spock, car boot sale apps, that kind of thing, to see if there was anything going that week, and unfortunately there just wasn't. So that came to an end. That was that. I had to phone up the local fish shop and just say, rehouse them, but make sure they go into a good home, basically. And that was the end of that. So we're now left with a bunch of empty tanks, a cracked tank, a tank on the floor over here with all of the fish in, and a damp issue. So basically I just chose to call it, just call it end of the day, end of that chapter. And I put the fish that were on the floor in the tank over there in my live bearer tank downstairs. Now, everything seems to go swimmingly downstairs, to be honest. I haven't lost any more fish since then. I've still got my fire red agassiz there downstairs. They're coping fine with everybody. I did think that they were going to start kicking everybody else's ass, but they've not done. They're okay. I've still got my killifish. I've got 2 pairs of them now. I have 2 adult females, a juvenile male, which is getting quite big now. He's getting just as big as the original male as well. They're still going strong. I've still got all of the live bearers. There's plenty of babies in there now. They're all quite sizable, but not at any kind of breeding stage. So they're all doing fine downstairs, and there will be another update on that tank coming soon. It's actually filthy at the moment. I need to do a filter upgrade video. What else am I doing? It does have some hair algae, so I'm going to do a video on getting rid of hair algae. And then what happened So yeah, okay, so I missed a bit. So I sold my rack, I got rid of the tanks, I've obviously not got a big 240 anymore, and there's still bloody damp in the room. So this damp specialist that had told me it was the fish tanks was completely talking out of his ass, and it wasn't down to that whatsoever. We now think that this house is rendered, and we think that the render needs sealing along the top where it meets the roof line. So that needs to happen. We think it's just penetrating damp because it's a gable end. It's a full gable end that gets all of the rainwater. So yeah, basically I got rid of all of my tanks for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, as you can imagine, pretty pissed off about that. Yes, I'm swearing. I will put a disclaimer in there for if we have any younger viewers. It's kind of a bummer, and I'm really sorry that this video is not my usual chipper video, and it doesn't really say anything about fish keeping other than sometimes shit does happen and shit hits the fan. You've just got to bear with it, grit your teeth, get on with it, and sometimes you do have to start from square one. With that being said, here's square one. So I did keep this tank. This was originally housing my, what was it originally housing? This was originally housing my plecos. So I had a couple of pairs of phantom plecos, blue phantom, green phantom, some lemon, blue-eyed bristlenose, and they were in here, and they were doing great, but they have also gone downstairs because they were in the fiasco of the water change of death. So they are in the tank downstairs, doing fantastic, to be honest. There's no breeding yet because I don't think they're at full maturity for that, but fingers crossed on that one. So we have a bare bottom tank. This has been cycling for probably 2 months of those 3 months that I've been out of the game. It's fully cycled. I will do a video on how I cycle tanks. So now I'm at the dilemma of what to put into it and what to do with it. Now, I have had a few ideas, so I'm going to leave it up to you to choose. At the top of my list for myself, because I've never kept them before, I would like to keep some shell dwellers. I get some sand, a bit of crushed coral maybe, a couple of rocks, quite a few shells on the bottom, leave it blue at the back, and then have a couple of shell dwellers, maybe a couple of pairs of that. I think I'd probably get away with 3 pairs in here and just watch them completely move the tank around to where they want it. Maybe do some stop motion film of how they do it, some speeded up film of them moving it around in a day. I don't know, maybe, yeah, I quite like the thought of shell dwellers. Although Galaxy Rasboras or Celestial Danios, they seem to be doing the rounds on the films. Maybe I should join in and see if I can do one with that. Paint it black at the back because that's just water-based acrylic paint. You can get that off quite easily, repaint it black. Maybe a riverbed kind of gravel was mixed in with some sand, some bogwood, heavily planted, and get some Galaxy Rasboras in there, and maybe some other nano fish, see how they go. Or maybe a breeding project. I was thinking it's probably a perfect tank maybe for trying to breed a Paradiscus maybe, if I could source an actual pair from somewhere. I have kept discus before in the past, never successfully bred them, but I think this tank will be quite good for that. Or maybe breeding some really fancy guppies, some proper pure strain guppies maybe. Or maybe, off the top of my head, completely go saltwater, and I think this filter would quite happily cope with a saltwater tank. Get some crushed coral in there, some live rock, some anemones, a couple of clownfish, clean up crew, and have a look at doing that. I don't know, choice is yours. What do you think? If you want to see any of those, or in fact you've got any other thoughts of what I should do, pop it in the description below. I apologise for the tone of this video, but I am back and hopefully there'll be a couple more videos following this weekend when I list this evening, I think, maybe. Thanks for sticking around, and if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. As you can probably tell, I've not done a video in a long time as well. I seem to be stumbling over my words, so apologies for that. Like I said, thanks for sticking around and sticking with me. I am back in the game, so hopefully 2 to 3 videos a week. Fingers crossed. Speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Cheers.